G'day guys, it's Cece, and today we're going to be discussing what to get an artist for Christmas. Let's jump straight into it, shall we? As it's that time of year again when we're all giving gifts, I thought this would be a great video to make to help you guys figure out what you should get an artist. Something I want to touch on briefly first is what not to get an artist. First, I want to mention that this is just personal preference and based off past experiences. Please try and avoid sketchbooks and pencils. I don't know how many years in a row I've gotten a plain sketchbook or lead pencils for a Secret Santa gift. This is an artist we're talking about. We probably have millions of these lying around our house. Unless specified, I would really try and avoid your basic cheap artist supplies from your local store. Really try and aim for quality over quantity. An artist can tell the difference. The reason we don't want sketchbooks or more lead pencils is not because we're ungrateful, it's just the fact that they are normally everywhere, cheap and easily to access. We don't want a bunch of the same thing piling up around the house. We would much prefer something new and something we can experiment with and actually have fun with and be able to use. But enough of my rambling, you came here to find out what to get an artist for Christmas. Let's start off with some gifts for the traditional artist. A traditional artist is someone who draws, paints, and creates. So when thinking up and researching ideas for these, it wasn't that hard. The few things I have here are a makeup washing mat, a palette, a journal, and a color wheel. The brush washing mat is intended for makeup, but I don't see why it can't be used for normal art brushes. This can be really handy for using the sink and washing out your brushes thoroughly, so this can really help an artist. Next, we have a palette. Now, a painter never has enough palettes. These can be really good quality, they can be wooden, they can be plastic, all shapes and sizes. These always help. And then you have a journal and a color wheel. Now, everyone loves a good journal, especially artists. Using this to doodle in or just write notes is a really handy way to carry around stuff that you're working on and any inspiration that you may gather while you're out and about. The color wheel, on the other hand, is great as reference as well. When mixing colors, you can take it with you so that when you're on the go and you need to mix a specific color, that's always there for reference. Next, we have some fine liners. Now, artists can never get enough of fine liners. All different shapes and sizes and styles, brush tips, fine liners, these can always come in handy. Now, the proper quality ones are quite on the pricey side. Now, normal people who aren't artists don't expect this, but I would really recommend trying to get the ones on the higher price range. This is really good quality stuff and it doesn't go to waste. I also put down some high quality erasers. Now, a good eraser really helps. As well as a kneadable eraser, this really helps for difficult spots to reach, but a good quality eraser never goes to waste. These are so handy. I highly recommend Staedtler erasers. I use them and I would bet my life on them that you will love them too. Another great thing is mechanical pencils. Now, you might be thinking, I thought you said no lead pencils. Now, there's a difference. Mechanical pencils really come in handy. They're like a pen, they're so much easier to handle. You can refill them, get more leads. These are really handy, and especially good quality ones, good weighted ones are really pleasing to use. Another thing I thought about was creative or artistic notepads. Artists really have an appreciation for other artworks, so I thought this would be a really cute and cheap thing that you can always include. Painters are always in the market for tissues, so either tissues or a creative tissue box. I found this really cool TV model tissue box holder. I think that's a really cute and creative design and an awesome way to hold your tissues when you're using these things for painting. Another thing that will never be unwanted is a good quality pair of scissors. Now, if you're anything like me, I find myself running around trying to find another pair of scissors, even though I have tons, but even better, a good quality pair is something I will always have by my side. Now, if you're willing to go on the pricey side of things, a great idea is a light box. Now, the industry is bringing out a lot of new and improved light boxes, these thinner ones that can really be handy and portable for you. Larger ones are a bit more expensive, but things like that can always help with larger projects. These are again on the pricey side, but never go unwanted for traditional artists. Another item on the pricey side are alcohol-based markers, specifically Copic markers. Now, if you're wanting to get someone started with these, I highly recommend the packs, specifically the greys. Now, a lot of people don't realize that these can cost $10 per pen, but the packs really do save you a lot of money, and I highly recommend the greys as a starting set. Now, a lot of artists, including myself, usually refer to ourselves as starving artists. This is because we're probably just scraping by with the money that we're making from our artwork. That being said, some things that you can buy can really be fun little projects for us, things that we can't normally afford. Something that I really enjoyed is paper clay, inks, and calligraphy. I highly recommend trying to get a few of these things. Artists will always have fun playing around with stuff that they can't normally afford, so I highly recommend just checking out a few of these things because I'm pretty sure they're going to enjoy doing something a little bit out of their comfort zone. Papers and gift cards. Now, different textured papers can be a really fun thing for us to experiment with. Any different colors, like a different colored sketchbook, different watercolor papers or cardboard or stock can really be fun things for us to use and experiment. Also, going outside our comfort zone, maybe it's the only thing that we have at hand at the moment, and we can normally play with these things and have a lot of fun. The other thing that I mentioned was gift cards. Now, normally I would shoot this down as a lazy gift, but when it comes to art supplies, it can be a really personal journey. So I highly recommend getting a gift card for a good quality art store local to you. So in Australia here we have Eckersley's and Art Riot, so that we can personally go in and choose stuff that we actually need or want. Washi tape and postcards. Now, postcards can come in all different shapes and sizes with different artworks on it. Like I mentioned earlier, we really do have an appreciation for other artwork. So these things can be really fun to have just to hang up on your wall and admire, and things that you can also use if they're willing to. Washi tape also being another thing where we can admire the artwork on it. It's great to have a collection of to not only use but admire the artwork on it. It's really handy to have, especially if you're painting or drawing, as it marks areas and it's easy to take off. A lot of them come in different colors and shapes and artwork, so they're really handy to have, also being quite cheap, so you can put a handful of those in and still be enjoyable. Wrap pencil cases and journal combos. These can be really handy. I have quite a few of these myself and can be used for pens, pencils, paintbrushes, and more. These are fantastic to have, easy to store, and come in so many different colors, shapes, and sizes. Now moving on to digital artists. Now, a lot of people in this day and age are starting to use digital as a form of their artwork. I personally use this and I'm really fond of it. So thinking of a few things was quite difficult, but I thought I came up with a few that could really come in handy. One of the things I think would really benefit me in particular, or anyone that spends long hours looking at a screen, is the blue light blocking glasses. Now, this is a new invention and really comes in handy, and it blocks the blue light from your computer or whatever screen you're looking at from entering your eyes. Now, blue light, it keeps you awake and is not good for your body, so these will really come in handy and they're really functional. Another thing is the half-hand artist glove. This is really handy for Wacom users or tablet users, as it protects that part of your hand that you use to rub against the screen. Tablet or iPad cushions. These things can be really handy when you're on the go. Putting these things on your table or on the lap can be really good to put your tablet on, so they can use it wherever you go. Now, a few things on the pricey side are styluses, specifically the Sensu brush. Now, I personally have one of these a couple of years back, and they are really, really fun and handy to use. So it comes with a paintbrush on one side and also a stylus. Now, these are a cheap alternative to the Apple Pencil, but if someone has an iPad Pro, I really do recommend trying to get one of those. Again, these are pricey, but always come in handy and are really fun and functional to use. Now moving to artists all round. Anatomy and concept art books. Now, anatomy books can really come in handy when an artist is studying the human body. This is great to have on hand, always a great reference to have, and we can look back and reference anything that we may need to use while doing our artwork. As for concept art books or illustration books, these are really fun to look at. Like I've mentioned previously, we really do have appreciation for other artworks. I personally own quite a few of these, and although on the pricey side, they are really good to go and see the concept and the process of other artworks. This can help us feel inspired and try and achieve more things that we want to in our artistic career goals. art prompt books, and Pantone color swatches. Artists always at some point come to art block. These art prompt books are a fantastic and cheap way to help fix that problem. These are really handy to look into when we're needing inspiration, and they're cheap and really handy to carry around with you. As for the Pantone color swatches, this is more lent towards painters but can also be used digitally, as it will give you different codes so that you can use them on your programs. This can be really helpful when you're trying to choose specific colors, whether it's in paint or if you're designing a character. Now these can be a little pricey, but really worth it when you're wanting specific colors. Art reference coasters and pins. These can be really cute things to have around the house as well as being functional. The pins are something we can always put in our clothes, bags, and anything else that we want to use to represent our creativity and artistry. There are tons of cute and quirky pins that we would love. I've seen so many with cute art references, artists that I like, famous artworks. These are also cheap to have and always cute and always welcome. Socks, glorious socks. I have never met anyone who doesn't like a good pair of socks. Now there are plenty of socks, not only cheap, but heaps have awesome designs, art references, and so much more. I have a big collection myself of fancy socks. A lot of artists tend to have good fashion sense because they are creative, so this is a great thing to also throw into the mix. Last but definitely not least, subscriptions. Every artist I know of loves to listen to music, especially while they work. Things like Spotify Premium and SoundCloud Premium can be great things to gift to them. It's something they may not be able to afford, and it's something great for them to be able to listen to either podcasts, music, or episodes of things that they might miss otherwise. Another great thing is Patreon. This allows them to choose someone that they like and they want to support. These things can also give them access to tutorials or patterns and things that they may be able to use while also supporting someone like a creator that they really like. And lastly, Skillshare. I promise I am not sponsored by them, but Skillshare is honestly a fantastic place for you to go and learn whatever you feel like. I have personally used this as a free way for me to be able to look at things that I may need to teach myself. They always have different free things going on, as well as a bonus to the paid membership. I highly recommend considering this as an option to gift to your artist. A year subscription is a fantastic way to be able to help them out in anything that they may want to personally teach themselves. So there you have it. I hope this was helpful to you in some way. Please let me know in the comments if it was, or any suggestions on things that you yourself might like if you are an artist. But right now, I want to take this opportunity to thank my current Patreons, Make It With Alex, Aqualotl, and Trappy75. Patreon is a great way to gain access to behind the scenes things, sketches, and artworks that wouldn't normally make the public, as well as supporting me and what I do. Supporting me on Patreon can also help with bringing out new videos catered to your liking. It also really helps me and encourages me to make better content for you guys, and hopefully one day be able to provide even more things. If that's something you're interested in, there's a link in the description below. But for now, I hope this video is helpful to you. I thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing, it's free and you can always unsubscribe. And please like the video if it was helpful to you in any way. Please let me know in the comments if you guys have any suggestions on what you'd like the next video to be. But until then, I'll catch you in the next one. See ya!